Welcome to Quick MCAT Lessons, where I try to explain MCAT topics in 10 minutes or less. Today we'll talk about the other essential roles the respiratory system plays, particularly in immune defense, thermoregulation, and filtration. We won't talk about gas exchange because we talked about all of that in the cardiology section, and you should go watch those videos again. Let's start off with the immune defense in the respiratory system. So the respiratory tract is constantly exposed to pathogens and particles from the external environment. To counter this, it has involved multiple layers of protection, starting with nasal hairs. So nasal hairs, called vibrissae, in the external airs trap large airborne particles. The nasal cavity also contains the enzyme lysozyme, which can attack the peptidoglycan wall of gram-positive bacteria. You may also remember that some viruses release a lysozyme as an early gene in the lytic life cycle. Now let's move on to mucus. Mucus is secreted by goblet cells that line the conducting pathways, trapping smaller debris and microbes. This brings us to the ciliated epithelium. This moves this mucus upward towards the throat in a coordinated pattern, and this is known as a mucociliary escalator. Finally, we have the epiglottis, which helps prevent aspiration of food into the airways. Further down in the alveoli, immune protection is maintained by alveolar macrophages. These phagocytize foreign particles that reach the respiratory zone. We also have a secretory immunoglobulin A. This is an antibody found in respiratory mucus. This neutralizes pathogens before they can penetrate epithelial barriers. And finally, there are mast cells in the lung. These have performed antibodies on their surfaces, and when the right substance attaches to the antibody, the mast cell releases inflammatory chemicals into the surrounding area to promote an immune response. Unfortunately, these antibodies are also responsive to pollen. This causes mast cells to provide inflammatory chemicals, and this mediates allergic reactions. Now let's talk about thermoregulation. So each breath helps regulate body temperature and water loss. As air is inhaled, it is warmed and humidified by the nasal cavity. During exhalation, heat and moisture are lost, contributing to body cooling. In cold environments, this can lead to increased water loss, which is why hydration is critical for respiratory function in dry air. Now, capillaries can also expand, allowing for more blood to pass through the vessels and a larger amount of energy dissipating. To conserve heat, capillaries can also shrink to vasoconstrict and conserve heat. Humans predominantly regulate temperature using capillaries and sweat glands in the skin, or rapid muscle contraction, which is called shivering. Now, the respiratory system transfers heat to the environment through evaporation of water by sweating. Other animals do this by panting. Now let's talk about filtration of circulating blood. Although the lungs are primarily a gas exchange organ, they also filter small clots and air bubbles from venous circulation before blood enters systemic arteries. This is particularly important in preventing embolic events in vital organs like the brain. Now, the lungs also act as a reservoir for blood and certain immune cells that can be mobilized during infection or stress. You also have non-respiratory reflexes like the cough or sneeze. Now, one coughs when irritants are detected in the larynx, trachea, or bronchi, and one sneezes when irritants are in the nasal passages. These reflexes rapidly expel air and particles to prevent deeper invasion of pathogens or debris. Now, a quick recap. The respiratory system plays a major role in immune defense using cilia, mucus, immunoglobulin A, and macrophages. It contributes to thermoregulation and water loss with every breath. It serves minor but important roles in blood filtration and immune cell reservoir functions. And it has protective reflexes like coughing and sneezing to help prevent infection and blockage. That's it for today. Next time we'll go over some practice questions for the respiratory system.